Hey Gremlins, it's part 2 from Evermay. By part 2, I mean you must now know part 1. If not, there's a part 1. It's already been put out. Please double check and see what the part 1 is, because who knows, I may get some, ballsy energy and say, let's just put out a 2-parter and give you guys 30 minutes of a podcast to listen to one day. Or I may break it up and give you part 1 one day and part 2 the next day. Who knows? It all depends on my moods, and my moods vary and change and come and go. But anyway, so I was telling a story about with a great title comes great responsibility in the game. And so the catalyst of people stepping away was I changed ranks to where your rank was dependent upon your power. You want a higher rank, then you're going to have to put in the work to become a greater power place or settlement. Is it cruel? I guess you could think of it, it's a non-personal way of doing things. And people get into these games and start going, it should be personal, it should be logistics. And then you have those that are like, it shouldn't be logistics, it should all be personal. There are different ways of playing a game, and you can do it either way. Yeah. Hold on, I need to type this in here, otherwise I will forget to name it correctly. Okay, part 1 has been labeled. Let me export it correctly, and we are good to go. But yeah, so the problem is the catalyst was me changing the ranking system with the approval of the R5. I never did anything without the approval of the R5. We were, again, first and second. We handled the alliance as such, too. But, yeah, so we changed the ranking system, which pissed off a couple people. One threw a hissy fit and quit. One just said, I've got to step back, I'm dipping. Things are changing. I'm not capable of handling it right now. AKA life got busy, needed to step away, too much was going on, too many certain people taking on responsibilities and not others taking on enough responsibility, not enough open communication and input. So hence this new change that was being rolled out simultaneously as the clock was running down on my R5 leaving for vacation. And we had decided, luckily, that we were going to change power position few days prior to him leaving, so therefore I could be R5 while he is still in town and can ask some questions and get some feedback from him. And oh my god, did I need it after the first night. First night was insane, mostly because the system wasn't ready to be rolled out at the time that the changeover happened, but I think it was assumed by everyone that the rollout was going to happen at the same time as the R5 shift, mostly because although he is the one that wrote out the comment that things needed to change and tasks needed to be divvied up, he was leaving it to the R4s to determine who does what task and all that stuff. Well, me being an R4 at the time and being a diplomat and having control issues, jumped in and was like, okay, then I'll make sure that this chart that I've already been working on does progress and doesn't get lost in the memo of what is the management chat. And so I took on that responsibility of making sure people were responding, that we were divvying things up, that things were going to be as fair as possible, meaning everybody takes on 2 responsibilities. Well, Yeah, that didn't work out. There's a couple of us, and if you have been listening to this, you already know the couple people that of us did this took on a few more responsibilities than everybody else. One, I don't mind. My three tasks that I have that I am lead for, um, I enjoy doing. It's part of what makes the game fun for me. I love being diplomat. I wasn't wanting to share that responsibility, so it wasn't on the list. Um, I love doing polls. I love being creative and coming up with silly polls. So I have no problem being lead on it. Um, yeah, so here I am. I'm taking on more responsibilities. There's another person taking on more responsibilities. We have two new R4s who have stepped up and taken on a little more responsibilities because we have, as a group, sort of, and I say group, I mean the little group, not the big group. So the little group is a core group of people who have been making decisions all along with the R5. Um, those are the ones that have stuck with this new change system. Then there is the big R4 group, and that is everybody, including the new R4s, um, in the whole R4, R5 dynamic group. So we have the big R4 group and then the core group, and that's how they're going to be referred to from now on. Core group versus R4 group. Well, yeah, they stepped up and took on more responsibilities in the R4 group, um, and hit the ground running. Like, literally, I was anticipating more questions, more uncertainty, not wanting to step on people's toes. They came in and said, this is going to be my role. This is what I get to participate in. And I'm going to hit the ground and I'm going to do the damnedest that I can do. And they have. They've hit the fucking ground and ran with it. And meanwhile, the core group is going, finally, we have people in place that are willing and wanting to make and watch and help this family grow into what we want it to be. And it showed, because although shit hit the fan on transfer night, it really could have been 50 times worse if we had some of the previous people in R4 continue to be R4. Some of them just never talked or never was around. Hold on, I need a drink. Sorry. But yeah, it was one of those things where it could have been worse. And so I even put out a thing to all the R4 saying, I know you guys feel like last night was a failure, but in all reality, you guys kicked motherfucking ass. You stepped up when it needed to be stepped up. You handled things that were happening in chat when I was so busy on messages that I couldn't keep up with chat if I wanted to. Like, I never was able to click on chat unless I saw that my username was being summoned. Other than that, I couldn't tell you what happened in chat that night. No clue, which sucks because I love hanging out and chat with everybody. But then we talked, we came up with new mail system and messaging system and started putting it in place within just the R4s to see and to feel out any loose cobblestones that needed to be like smashed down into place and fixed so we could run smoothly and things could, travel and get accomplished. And so, yeah, it was one of those, we kind of implemented it within our own group. People got to choose which categories they paid attention to, which categories they don't pay attention to. So it's their choice and the level of involvement in making decisions, which then puts the power back in their hands. And so, which is what they claim they wanted to begin with. So now we're putting it to the test, essentially. You said that you wanted responsibilities, you wanted decision making power, that you wanted to take on stuff to make this be what it needs to be. Prove it. And so that's at the stage we're at now, is the prove it part. But at 10 p.m. my time, we made it completely live in the entire alliance. We rolled out the new setup, who you talk to, who is the lead, who's the backup. These are the different sections that you may have questions on that we do on a regular. These are the people who will be sending you message on certain topics. So everybody now is on the same page. We all know who to talk to about certain things. We know who are the decision makers on certain things. So when things start either excelling or falling through the cracks, we know who, where, when, how, and all that fun stuff. But in doing so, everything, and I mean everything, was completely different last night. I was able to play the game, just play the game. I was able to pay attention and chat a little bit. I was able to joke and have fun with everybody in chat. I was able to get through all the messages. So by the time I logged off, there were no more red dots, which has not happened very often since I became R4 and took on Diplomat. Typically when I go to bed, there are no red dots, but then you know how like you log off and then somebody messages you real quick, so then you hop right back on. You've been off the game maybe like 3 seconds. There are many a nights that has happened, and when I've logged back on, I've had red dots. And so most nights when I went to bed, there were red dots. So there has always been messages that have not been read. I've glanced over them, so if it was from somebody of importance or a topic of importance, I made sure I responded right away. The ones that were personal messages, that kind of stuff, those are the ones that stayed as red dots when I logged off. Last night, there were no red dots on my phone when I logged off. And when I woke up this morning, there were 3. 3. 3. Count that. 1, 2, 3. Uno, dos, tres. 3. That's it. That's insane, especially for an R5. R4 with a title responsibility. That just is amazing. And everybody was doing their thing. You know, I could see if there were chats going on in certain categories and following up with those chats, doing that kind of stuff. But now is the time, and this is the hard part for me, but I am going to do this because I think we finally have the right people in place, and I feel secure enough that now's the time for the R5 to let everybody shine and do their thing and show exactly who they are as a gamer, as a person, as a leader, and only respond and help when it's brought to me instead of being in and trying to have input in all the decisions. So it's interesting, and I really hope that when the R5 comes back, they can have the same kind of freedom now and enjoy the game again, because I think it was getting a little much and a vacation was really needed right now for him. And so I hope that this gives him exactly what he needs. I know he's going to have a blast. He's going to go visit his grandson, who is adorable, by the way. And yeah, he's going to have a blast and relax. And we are going to soar and thrive. And he's going to come back and be like, this is a whole new world. And be like, yep, Aladdin has arrived. On that note, this is the end of this one, and I will talk to you gremlins later. Bye!